Hi, this is Ya. If you join me midstream, I'm going to share how I capsules with my favorite herb. So the capsules I'm making right now, I'm making it with an Ayurveda herbal concoction that a friend has made for me. I don't know everything that's in it. He's made it for me. This is the third time he's made it for me. I do a detox plan with him every year, usually at the end of summer. But this year I feel like I started my dirty summer a bit too early. So I've hit the point where I feel like I need a detox. So he's giving me the powder. This is how the powder looks. And I encapsulate it with empty vegetable capsule shells. I also do the same thing for hard to consume herbs like spirulina, chlorella, psyllium husk, because psyllium husk tends to expand when you add it to water. So when I add it to my cooking, it tends to fill me up. So I prefer to take it encapsulated. So I am using empty capsule shells. This is how they look. Let me just zoom in a little bit so you can see. So this is how the empty capsule shells look. It has two parts. One part is quite long, whereas the other part is short. And you can choose to fill this individually by hand, but that just takes forever. Whereas my encapsulation contraption here, it lets me do 100 at a time. So it makes it easy to make as much capsules as possible. So I'm just going to share with you the journey to making 100 capsules in like 3 minutes. This is obviously because I'm talking to you, it's going to take me a little bit longer than 3 minutes, but when I'm not talking and I'm focusing on what I'm doing, it usually takes me 3 minutes to do 100. So let's go. Now this encapsulation machine I got from Amazon. I'm pretty sure you can get it from all the online marketplaces. You could also get one that does more than 100 at a time. This was my first one. I wasn't sure how I was going to get on with the equipment, so I only went for one that does 100 at a time. It's incredibly efficient. So the idea is to get each empty capsule shell to go down a hole. So when you pour it on top like that, apparently you're meant to shake it around and they'll find their way in, but I find that it's actually easy for me to just push them down myself. I prefer to push them down myself rather than shaking it about like this, but I want you to see how easy this is. So I'm going by the prescribed way of using it, right? Okay, so some of the holes are filled. I'm just going to double check, and any hole that doesn't have a shell, it looks like they're all filled actually. Okay, they're all filled, so I'm just going to put away the excess capsule shells. So they fit into the holes so that it's easy to fill them with the herb. This is probably the best invention ever, I have to say, because if you're a nutritionist or a homeopath or one of those holistic therapy roles where you mix a variety of remedies for your clients, for instance, you can easily encapsulate them and present them much nicer than giving a bag of herbs to your client and then expecting that people would be able to take the right measurement each time. So these empty shells are double O. Empty capsule shells come in different sizes. These ones are double O. You can find a single O, a 1, and all sort of sizes. So if you just simply give a powder to a client, for instance, expecting them to take the right amount every day, they can easily take more or less some days, right? Whereas if they're encapsulated, it makes it easy. What I find is sometimes some of the, I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see. Some of the empty capsule shells are turned upside down. I don't know if you can make them out. So these ones are upside down. I've got the bottom up. It's incredibly easy to just turn them around. If you press the top of the encapsulation, I don't want to call it a machine because everything is still manual. So the encapsulation equipment, if you press it down, the empty shells tend to pop up. Can you see? Yeah. So when they're popping up, you can easily flip them out of the hole and turn them the right way up. Right, there we are. So double check to make sure every single hole has got one. If you don't fill a hole with an empty capsule shell, what would happen is when you start putting the powder will just go through and just settle on the equipment. So I always double check, and it does look like every hole is filled. You will then put this part. I know that for the double O shells, it takes 4 tablespoons to fill. I start off with 3 tablespoonfuls, feed it through, and then once I fed it through, I will add the 4th, sometimes maybe another half a tablespoon to make 4.5. If I pack them really tightly, I can get 5 tablespoonfuls in 100 empty capsule shells. Roughly, each tablespoonful is about 10 grams. So you can estimate that it takes 50 grams to make 100 capsule shells when you're using the double O empty capsule shells. So this is really fun to do. It's easy to do, and it's also cost effective. Can you imagine if you want to consume something like spirulina or chlorella, you buy the powder from Amazon or wherever, and you encapsulate it yourself. It's so easy to do. If you were to buy, I've already done 200, so that is 4.5 tablespoonfuls. So that's 90 grams there, plus this 4.5. That would be what, 14? Is that right? 15. No, sorry, 150 grams. Yeah, so 150 grams of one of the superfoods. It's going to be incredibly expensive, but if you buy 150 grams of a superfood like spirulina, for instance, and you fill it in the empty capsule shells yourself, it would only cost you a fraction of what you would pay. You can also mix more than one herb. You don't have to just do single herbs. What I tend to do is I always make a chlorella, spirulina, maca, and ashwagandha tablets. I make those because I'm a woman of a certain age and I do need a little bit of help with balancing my hormones. So I find that mixing the 4, spirulina, chlorella, which have got a wide variety of nutrients, and then maca and ashwagandha together. The ashwagandha is incredibly great if you're in your perimenopausal years and you're struggling with hot flashes. So you can even make ashwagandha tablets, and 100% one. You don't have to mix it with any other herbs, but you can definitely mix all your favorite herbs together. Make your own capsules. So it's incredibly easy, time efficient, cheaper as well, and fun to do. Can you imagine if you made your own capsules from all your favorite herbs? Fill your kitchen with all your favorite herbs, and you don't have to buy expensive brands anymore. When you make your own capsules, you know what exactly has gone in. One thing I would say though is that, before you run off and start making herbal capsules, you have to make sure that you do not do anything that's going to implicate your health. So you have to know what herb you're using. You have to know the quantity that you're going to consume, because mind you, herbs, as good as herbs can be, herbs can also poison us if you take herbs the wrong way. Mind you, poison is also natural. I think most often, you know, people would look at herbs as because it's natural, it's okay to just consume it anyhow. So if you're going to make your own herbs, then please make sure that you check with your doctor to make sure that whatever herb is okay for you to take and is not going to implicate your health. Make sure that you've done a lot of research and completely understand what you're doing. So this is 4.5 grams. I'm going to add a little bit more because if you can see, the capsules are not completely filled. So I'm just going to add a little bit more herb powder. Push it down. One thing is, when you press down, if you overfill it, sometimes it can be a little difficult to put the other half on. So try not to forcefully push down more than the empty capsule shells can take, you know. So if it's difficult to press it down, it means, you know, it's too much. So don't be too heavy-handed. Press down again. Right, so as you can see, most of the shells are filled to the brim. So keep spreading it around so all the partially filled ones can absorb some powder, but not force it down. I've still got lots of empty capsule shells, so not force it down. Put this away for now because I can make some more capsules with it. Right, press down again. Perfect. So this bit of the encapsulation machine comes off. Try and get this little bit of powder on the edges into any capsules that it can fill. Right, so this bit is done. I'm now going to work on the other ends. So with the other ends, how you fill that, you place these two on top. You place this bit on top of this bit, not this side. So if you get one of these encapsulation machines, it's not this side you're going to use, it's the smooth side. So do this. Place both in here. This is meant to be a holder. Right. I only make my capsules every 3 months or every 4 months, so it always takes me a few minutes to remember how the order to put things in, but this is the right way. It's supposed to be this way, I hope. No, it's supposed to be this way. So yeah, so this bit slots in very nicely. So you sit the holder bit on top of the top capsule shells bit. Place it on top. It slides in nicely. Just let it rest. Bring your empty capsule shells in. So scoop as much as you want in here. You can always take the excess ones off. So put everything in there. Lift it up and shake it about to fill the holes. So shake, 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 shake. Okay. I'm just going to pour out the excess empty capsule shells. Just put them away. When you shake too much, some of the capsule shells that have embedded in the holes tend to come out. So you'd have to be careful not to put too much pressure. Just get as much as you can get out without bringing out all the ones that have settled in the holes. Also, sometimes you do get some of the empty capsule shells upside down. I'll show you the easier way to sort this out. If you hit the whole encapsulation machine, I hate calling this a machine because it's not a machine, it's something that you manually operate. So I hate calling it a machine. But if you were to hit it, for instance, everything will just jump out, even the ones that have embedded in the right place. So you don't need to hit it. There's a much easier way of doing it. I'm just making sure that there is an empty capsule shell in every hole, and then remove the excess empty capsule shells. There we are. Oh. Right. The thing is, if you miss one part, the other part, it becomes redundant. You know, there's nothing to use the other part for. So I'm careful not to drop them. This particular empty capsule shells are made with plants. You do get a version of it that is made with gelatin. This one is plant, so it's vegan and vegetarian friendly. Right, so when you lift that top tray off, it's easier to just lift the ones that are in the wrong way up. Just lift them, flip them over, and set it back in the hole. You have to make sure that the closed end is sitting in and the open end is the bit facing up, because we need to cover this side of the capsules over there, side that's filled with the herbs. So this is how it looks. It's going to go in. I think I can see a tiny fluff on my tray, so I'm going to get rid of it. Oh, it's just a scratch, it's not a fluff. All right, that's fine. So just flip everything that went in the wrong way. Flip, flip, flip. Okay, I am almost done. Right, so double check to make sure each hole has got one, because if you're missing a hole, when you come to turn it on top of the filled bit, that one will be missing out. So every hole has got one. Right, so what you do is bring the blue parts. Some of the machines, this is not blue, it's a different color, but it's always the tray that has got these two indentations on the side, right? So place it on top like that. The indentation is just for you to press your finger into that bit. Let me zoom out a little bit so you can see this whole bit, right? Turn it upside down like that. Place it on top. Make sure that the holes, so there's 4 holes, make sure that the holes go over the screws on each end. So there's 4 screws. Make sure that these holes on each end goes over the screws. Press it down and we've got magic. Take this bit off. You're left with this tray, which removes the capsules from the bottom part. Can you see? This is like magic. Amazing. So flip it into your bowl, and there you are. You have made your own homemade capsules, and you know absolutely what is inside of your capsules because you made it yourself. So this is fun to do, cheap to make, and you can just about use any herb at all. In fact, you can even store your spices in empty capsule shells. You can go for the really large ones and fill them up And every time you're cooking, just open one up and just pour the content into your cooking. Right, so that's how easy it is to make your own herbal capsules. Thank you for joining me. I am going to end the live here. I'm going to finish making what is left in the bag, all right, but you know the process, so you don't have to sit and watch me finish this. So I'm going to end this here. Feel free to ask me questions in the comments, and I'll be happy to answer them. Right, thank you.